As Chief of Staff, I urge every soldier of the AFP to remain firm and steadfast. Let the sacrifices of our heroes inspire us to dedicate ourselves to remain professional in our calling. To our countrymen, your armed forces of today commits itself to be an organization that you could continue to be proud of. I assure you that we will forever remain your protector as well as your partner in development and progress. United, we will make our beloved country, the Philippines, a peaceful and progressive home to live in for us and our future generations. May this film become a lasting legacy of the Filipino soldier. Mabuhay ang makabagong kawal Pilipino.
General Paulino Santos, Third Lieutenant Ferdinand Marcos, Colonel Jesus Antonio Villamor, General Mariano Castañeda, Captain Conrado Yap, Technical Sergeant Francisco Camacho, Corporal Miguel Pastolero, Sergeant Bienvenido Fajemolin, Captain Hilario Estrella, Sergeant Francisco Grantil, Private First Class Robert Salvador, Captain Arturo Ortiz, First Lieutenant Bartolome Vicente Bacaro, Corporal Romualdo Rubi, Second Lieutenant Jose Bandong, Captain Custodio Parcon. These men stood out among their colleagues in the armed forces of the Philippines. Each of them, in their own time, risked life and limb in the interest of the state. Some of them lived through it. Others weren't that lucky. But all of them have one thing in common. These gallant men, at one point in their military career, were all given the highest honor, the Medal of Valor. In 1909, the first Medal of Valor was given to General Paulino Santos. Before gaining the top post in the Philippine Army, Santos led his platoon and raided a rebel camp in the town of Bayang in Lanao. Because of his skills and leadership, Santos and his men neutralized 30 rebels, a number far more than his crew. The premier base of the Philippine Air Force was named in honor of this officer, Colonel Jesus Antonio Villamor. During the Second World War, Villamor led Filipino soldiers in fighting Japanese intruders and was able to regain then Sablan Field in Quezon City on December 10, 1941. Villamor was also responsible for setting up the first intelligence and secret service network for the country, which he did after a successful stint as chief of the Allied Intelligence Bureau from 1942 to 1943. His accomplishment during the Second World War as a third lieutenant, combat intelligence officer of the 21st Lightning Division that blocked Japanese forces from crossing Besang Pass, thus delaying the invaders from occupying Bataan. Former President Ferdinand Edralin Marcos is listed among those who were awarded the Medal of Valor. In 1946, Philippine independence was proclaimed, and Manuel A. Rojas became the first president of the Republic. Not known to many, Rojas's administration may have been cut short if not for his loyal soldier, General Mariano Castañeda. On March 17, 1947, on the eve of a plebiscite, while President Rojas was urging Filipinos to ratify an amendment to the Constitution at Plaza Miranda, a hand grenade was lobbed directly at the stage where the president and his family was. Unmindful of his own safety, General Castañeda ran to the stage and asked the people to duck. With perfect timing, he then kicked the grenade away from where the president was. Castañeda did not only save the life of the president, but spared hundreds of others from the brutality of terrorism. Captain Hilario Estrella was a detachment commander of the Bubuan Detachment, 33rd Infantry Battalion in Bayog, Zamboanga del Sur. On December 1, 1984, about 200 heavily armed terrorists launched a surprise attack on his detachment.
The two patrol bases were astride a road net. At about 400 hours, the guards sense people coming near the detachment, so they reckon fire. Instantly, the enemy open fired. Well, I was on top of the situation, and my men followed my instruction to the letter. That's why we were able to repulse the enemy. Fear, I do not know, but as far as I'm concerned, and my men on the hilltop,
po yung gunner ng 16 ng PC. Dahil wala akong naririnig na putok ng 16 na kasama namin. Ang ginawa ko, umabante ako para masuportahan ko yung naunang 4 na team ng PC na pumasok sa killing zone.
Not only did he fight for the government, Private First Class Acero laid down his life for his comrades as well. It was on November 26, 1972, when the 7th and 8th Marine Companies started their trek to Cibalo Hill in Jolo, Sulu, which was then held by the Moro National Liberation Front. But as they crawled uphill, Muslim rebels suddenly heaved bursts of gunfire at the soldiers. Acero's commanding officer ordered a retreat, but seeing the dead and injured, including his friend Private Buaya, Acero offered to stay behind to hold the line. Combat support arrived the following day, but as the firing ceased, in the battlefield they found Acero dead. He died clutching his M16 as he cradled his fallen comrade in his left arm. A few meters away, around 30 rebels lay dead.
Noong October 17, 1977 na-assign po ako sa Charlie Company na 36 IB doon sa Kawit sa Zamboanga del Norte. Nakataon na yung commanding officer namin na nasa conference, nag-attend siya ng conference doon sa batalyon namin. Kaya ako ang pinatake charge doon sa may company namin headquarters. May mga reports na may maraming mga armed group. Yung mga, during the time, mga MNLA pa yun. Pero sabay-sabay ba, bigla ang pag-ano nila ba, pag-attack sa amin. So, hindi din ako na-surprise dahil naka-alerto kami, naka-paksol ang yung mga tauhan ko sa platoon. Saka, yung pag-bulyo fire na kaagad, di, sabi ko sa mga bata, kalma lang, huwag kayong masyadong automatic. Kasi di mo maklaro ang kan, medyo madilim-dilim pa. Single-single lang, sabi ko, yung pick-up lang ba. Pagkatapos, banat na kagad yung mga malakas na potok ng mga B-40, MC-29. Sabi ko, huwag kayong maratol, huwag kayong mataranta dyan. Kayang-kaya yan. Wala yung armed group doon sa 300. Kasama yung walang barrel, kasama rin doon, mga Lahat sila, mga almost 500.
After the political turnabout in 1986, the armed forces of the Philippines was left in turmoil. The sudden changes in the political scene caused confusion among the ranks. The administration then of President Corazon Aquino saw the most number of military uprisings. Considered the most threatening was the infamous December 1990 coup attempt.
30 minutes ago, we can declare that the attempted coup by rebel soldiers has been crushed.
Private First Class Robert Salvador was among those tasked to defend the general headquarters of the AFP in Camp Aguinaldo.
Group po ako ni Colonel Victor Mayo. And bale ano kami doon, bale 3 kumpanya. So Captain Kadapan ang company commander namin at Lieutenant Labutong. Then yun nga, kami ang mortar platoon. Kami ang una nag-deploy doon sa gate. Actually, hindi sana ako kasama dito, pero wala magmamahal. Diyos binigay sa akin at tas nahawakan ko ito. Siyempre, as kapatid ko, so medyo nalungkot ako ng konti. Pero inaisip ko na lang na gera, kailangan gawin yun.
Salvador, armed with his anti-tank grenade launcher, positioned himself at the main entrance of Camp Aguinaldo, anticipating the entry of enemy forces. Shortly before dawn of December 3, 1990, a rebel tank came rolling directly at the government's defense position inside Camp Aguinaldo. Salvador opened fire. But when the sounds of gunfire halted and the smoke from the hostilities cleared, Salvador saw that the tank he just gunned down was manned by his own brother.
Meron akong konting feelings na nararamdaman na masakit, pero wala na tapos na Diyos na lang bahala.
In Sitio Manipulan, Pandanan, Murcia Negros Occidental, April 6, 1990, the 606th Special Forces Company under Captain Arturo Ortiz raided a communist rebel camp.
We started our climb at around 5:30 in the morning, and extra difficult because there's nothing except rocks and cliff features on which to cling on. And some was already 8 o'clock in the morning. We heard a commotion somewhere about 200 to 300 meters from our position. I called up 6 of my men to accompany me to reconnoiter the area where this commotion or noises are coming. I was surprised to see that the number of people is more than doubled after asking guidance from the Almighty. May konting kaba rin ako noon, may takot din. But then I realized that as a professional soldier, we should never allow our fears overcome our sense of duty.
That was way back January 1991, January 26. During that time, that was the height of the Marag Bali campaign that the 5th Division is doing. Then I was then the company commander of the 6th Isabela Kafgu Company based at Makunakon, Isabela. That's the town, coastal town of Isabela. In that day, one of my Kafgu got married. It was held dun sa camp itself. We noticed armed group nandun sa tabi. Then we were then in what you call parang civilian clothes, commando type. Then our weapons were hidden. No? Then while closing in, one of the armed NPA, some might say, halted us. then asked the questions, "Oh, sino kayo?" Then I said, "Kayo, sino kayo?" Then they made mention that kasama kami ni CO. I was then the CO in the area. Kasama kami ni CO, Lieutenant I was only second lieutenant, and si Lieutenant Bacaro. So with that, the firefight started. We were the first to deliver yung fire. During the first engagement, our team, I was already hit on my left thigh, but it was superficial because I had 2 magazines on my pocket. The bullet hit the magazine, then the magazines exploded. So I was already hit. Then I had 3 killed in action, then 3 wounded.
Bandang alas 3 ng hapon, ayun, sinugod nila ako kasi malapit lang sa kuan, malapit lang sa pantalan yun. Tapos sa taas noon, yun ang detachment na inattack nila. Naipwisto nila doon yung 2 60 caliber na machine gun, tapos sabay attack sa akin. So doon na, bakbakan. Tapos yung isang commander na lumapit doon, na may dalang 2 squad ang dala niya. Niras up nila kagad ako. Tapos pinaano nila ako, pinasurrender. Ayaw ko namang sumurrender. So, baka na. Tapos nung agad natamaan ko ang 4 sa kanila. Tapos sunod si Commander si Commander Arke, yung head nila. Tapos ng mga bandang 4 o'clock, kasi alas 3 kami nag-umpisa. Nag-withdraw sila ng kunti. Tapos nung lumapit na talaga, ayun, nagpalitan naman kami ng putok. Nakuha ko na rin si Commander Lima at saka yung iba na kasamahan nila.
One would not think that this spot was once a hotbed of rebellion, where a young lieutenant of the armed forces of the Philippines lost his life defending his government and his people from communist insurgents. It was on April 10th, 1992, at the boundary of Sagada and Bondoc Mountain Province, when Second Lieutenant Jose Bandong led his men in a bloody battle against heavily armed guerrillas of the New People's Army. His death brought mourning, but the tears shed were more for gratitude.
Diyan ang tinatawag na Bandong Hill. Diyan siya naka-enkwentro ng more or less 100 na MPA. First na na-enkwentro niya, nakakuha nga sila ng baril, nakakuha sila ng kalaban, patay. Tapos nung mag-withdraw na sila, dahil siyempre nakakuha sila ng kalaban, pag-withdraw nila, yung pala tinambangan na sila pabalik. So tumawag na siya ng tumawag siya na na-enkwentro siya, paggabi na or mapags na, hindi na siya mabigyan ng totally full support ng air support. Sabi sa akin nung radyoman niya na pinawi-withdraw na daw sila, tapos magre-request siya ng bomb shells doon sa place niya para makapag-withdraw sila. Kung hindi siya hindi niya sinacrifice yung life niya, baka yung mga kasama niyang kalahati madali rin.
Second Lieutenant Jose Bandong's name and his sacrifice will be forever carved in Philippine history. But not all those who were honored for their courage fired guns and shed blood in the theater of war. On September 21st, 1995, powerful Typhoon Ruping released its rage on the coasts and seas of northern Luzon. A transport ship, BRP Badjao, was caught at mid-sea. Luckily, the ill-fated vessel was able to radio for help before it was engulfed by the massive waves. Navy pilots Lieutenants Ronaldo Arenas and Zosimo Mendiola were immediately dispatched to rescue the ship's crew. Without thinking of their own safety, the 2 pilots flew and within minutes spotted the distressed vessel.
I had a hard time convincing the operations, the tower of Sangli, to proceed because of that weather, bagyong But after explaining we have to conduct rescue, nobody can do that favor to our comrades who are in distress there in that area. Kinuha ko lang yung last position ng barko, tuloy kami pero wala na. Nagsushoreline na kami, talagang slow down speed, 60 knots, dahan-dahan talaga, makarating lang doon. So nakarating kami doon sa area na yun, masama talaga, nabutan na yung barko, wala nang power, talagang